Everybody, today I'm going to be going over these amazing boots. They seem to be in pretty much fashion now, especially they coming out nowadays with a lot more of the old school retro style boots. So I think it'll be real great for you guys to check these out. So these boots are by Steve Madden. These are the Troopah. Is that how you spell it? Is that how you pronounce it? Troopah. This specific size is a 9D, and let's just kind of dive right into it, as you guys already can tell. So it already tells on the inside here. You can see the upper is made of leather, lining is leather, outsole is not even sure what TPR is, and they're made in Mexico. Alrighty. And when you take a look at them right off the bat, yeah, they are nice and leather, which is great. It's a nice soft leather. It's not going to be hard leather. Sometimes I personally don't like boots that have a hard leather. I like ones that are going to be malleable over time. And so these are pretty nice for that. One thing that's very interesting about them is that you have this nice upper leather here, and then on the sole here, this actually is not scratched. This actually is how it comes. This is, I guess, that distressed look on them. Another nice option here on these guys is that it has this, I'm not exactly sure what this is called, but this little edge here, which is great. It has like a nice little different, pretty much like a different look and feel to it. So this leather here is very soft, like I mentioned earlier, very malleable. And what's nice about it is that you can, while you're still taking care of the shoes over time, you don't have to be as meticulous about it, simply because the more you wear these shoes, the more distressed they're going to look, the better they're going to end up looking. I realized that they have a very army style look to them, which is a kind of like a common fashion trend nowadays. But what's nice about them is that they have just a slight army look, but they're not too terribly stiff about them, which is great. These laces, as you see, the way that I tie them specifically, I kind of just like to leave it a little open at the top. But these laces are gonna go all the way to the very top if you want to have a full-on, I guess, army look to them. From my understanding, also these are for the men, but there is a female version too as well. I'm not exactly sure how they differ in that sense, simply because when I looked them up, they actually look pretty much the same to me. So, obviously if you're a male or female, want to just, you might want to send a message to the seller and kind of, ask, hey, what is the difference there? So anyway, so kind of turning them around here on this side here, you could tell the leather kind of comes out a little better. See, on this side it's a little different. It has a nice little zipper, goes all the way down. Let me just grab that real quick. The laces, once again, are going to be nice and thin. They're not too terribly fancy, which is great. It kind of, gives a nice little blend between the leather. That's always a nice little feature there. I haven't, as you can tell, I've had these for quite some time. One thing that's kind of interesting is that I know when you look right off the bat, the sole looks a little worn, but when I personally wear them, I actually don't have any issues like slipping around or anything. That's actually something very interesting that I just noticed. That's very, looks like even when it first came, actually, the sole wasn't, it's a little rigid here, but not in any way that I guess would prevent you from slipping and falling. I haven't had any issues, so if you guys do, I'm sorry that you do, but that's one thing that I actually just noticed at the moment. So yeah, so what's nice about these guys, you can actually, if you want, you can see, because the leather is nice and soft, it actually accommodates different wearing styles. So what you can actually do is, if you drop them down here, you can actually just do that right there, to support, whatever fashion trends you might have. I like wearing these just up like this. I have worn these in the rain, haven't had any issues with them. It's obviously leather, so it's going to be pretty well insulated, but they also feel really soft. And another thing about them is that they're not too bulky, and that was one thing that I always wanted in a boot. Because a lot of times your traditional boots are going to be very bulky, and they're just going to feel pretty much very heavy on your feet, especially if you're not used to wearing boots all the time. But what's nice about these actually look, when I put them on my feet, they actually look very, very small compared to some of the other shoes that I have. Even though you kind of look at them here and it looks like they have some sort of bulk to them, but they actually don't. It's actually some of the shoes that I've personally had that actually look the smallest on me, and apart from all the other boots, they look great. So that's always a nice little feature. There. Yeah, this leather is actually super nice. I actually haven't done anything to clean it. I just kind of just left it as is. And you can tell these actually have just been pretty much stored for quite some time. Here in Southern California, I don't find the need to wear the boots as often. But you know, you could just kind of just leave it. It actually just gets better over time. You don't have to actually touch them with anything. The leather still feels brand new. A lot of these other sides here, yeah, they feel brand new. The laces don't have any issues to them. See, if you notice, like I was saying earlier, the more used these look, the better they end up looking. You know, the more the more use they get, they end up looking better. So hope you guys enjoy. So these are the Steve Madden Troopah boots. They're not going to be, you know, you probably get a good price on them, but they're not going to be too terribly expensive. And the Steve Madden brand is always a good reputable brand. All right, thanks. Hope you guys enjoyed.